What's up with it, people? Happy Friday. Um, some of y'all, happy weekend. Some of y'all are off a weekend. Some of y'all have to go to work. But today, I want to talk about mental health. But I want to talk about mental health for black men, right? For the native men of this land. And I'm going to actually share with you some of my struggles, right, that I've been dealing with. So let's get to it. You know, I just turned 45 uh, February 3rd, right? And I remember my 20s, I remember my 30s, and I remember my 40s, right? Up until now, from, you know. And since my 20s, right, I've watched I've watched hate evolve. And you know, when you're constantly around chaos, right? When you're constantly around chaos, whether work chaos, family chaos, immediate family chaos, or just family chaos between people, between the family members. As you get older, you become numb to some of the great things that are going on around you and even within you. And right now, we're in a culture where it's not about necessarily love. Some people it is, right? So I'm not about to put everybody in a box. So it's not for everybody, right? But we tend to sit up here and where is the safe haven that we can go to, right? I remember when I got full custody of my oldest son, right? At the time, there was no funding for men and children in the Bay Area. And I got full custody of him in 2010, March 18th, 2010, right? And there was no funding. And at the time, I had quit my job. I had a pretty good job, but I quit my job. And, you know, I wanted to sit up here and make sure that my son was okay because he was at the time in a pretty messed up situation. The judge granted me full custody, and I was able to get full custody. But when I got full custody of March 18th of 2010, by April and May, I was already leaving because there was nothing out here. And I had kind of exhausted all my benefits and stuff like that. So I was out. I went to Visalia to stay with my homeboy G, my brother. Thank you, G. And so there's a lot of funding for women programs. Now they have got some funding for men, but at that time they didn't. I say that because there's a lot of groups that women can go to. They just started some for men, so there are men parenting groups, father groups. Um, if you ever been to them, because I've been to a couple, right? And it's more so you go and you talk, but there's no action behind what's being talked about. They might have a barbecue here and there, but there's no real action behind what's being brought to the circle, right? In today's world, both men and women is looking for an easy handout, right? It's just not men, it's women too. The mental health comes in because it go like this. When you're trying to balance a family and work life, right? And 9 out of 10 work life is 40 hours, 80 hours every 2 weeks, right? How much of that time are you spending with your family? Both parents. How many, if you're working 40 hours a week, how much time is going into your family? Do you invest into your family? Now, to the families that got, for instance, it might be a family that got the weekends off, right? So you're able to balance that family life on the weekends, right? You're able to juggle it on the weekends. Take the kids to football practice, to their games, basketball games, baseball games, hockey, soccer, whatever it is, karate, whatever it is, right? You're able to do it as a unit. What about the families that don't have weekends off? Now you have to balance the schedules if it is not a set. If both parties in a relationship that's living together don't have set schedules and the schedules are constantly rotating, how do you fit in to that? There, today is Valentine's Day, right? And anybody knows me know that I don't really celebrate. I don't celebrate no holidays. But girls came up with a new thing, Galatine or some shit like that, right? Where all the girls get together and they have their time together, right? Men don't have that. I'm not saying that would be a day that dudes want to get together and celebrate. No. I say that because it affects the family, right? It affects the family. It affects the family in a way because you can't be there for your kids. You can't be there for your family. See, when you're working, you're investing, right? The job is investing in you to be there 40 hours a day, 40 hours a week. You get your paycheck, right? For some people, they work and get their paycheck every week instead of 80 hours. You're still spending 40 hours away from your family, and you're not investing in your family. Let me take you back to 2004. 2004, I had my kid's mom had our first child, right? May 2nd, 2004. Now, I remember at the time I was not working. My kid's mom had a better job than me, okay? I had moved in with her. So, she was stressing or whatever the case may be, and I was like, no, just I'll stay home. And at the time, she was like, you stay home. I'm like, I stay home. Who else is going to watch our baby? You know what I'm saying? So I stay home where you work. I would have to go and get a job, or whatever, because I wasn't working. And no, I just stay home. So I was able to build that bond with my daughter at that time. I was able to build that bond because and me and my kid's mom we had a good ass, we were able to work it out. She didn't mind going to work. And, at the time, I was selling weed, so I might have sold, I wasn't a nigga like that. I might have sold some weed so we can have a little bit more money. You know what I'm saying? But everything worked out. And sometimes and it's nothing wrong with that. I remember a couple of my friends, you staying home, what about work? You ain't gonna get no. My daughter, I wanted to invest that time into my daughter. Not saying I didn't work, because then it worked out that, give you my little background, my work background. I was working at that time, I just started a job working at Albertsons. I was a bagger. In 3 months, I was already working with the key to the store. I was the night stalker. In 3 months. So that even worked out 10 times better, because there would be times where, guess what? In the morning, I didn't have to work. So I could watch my daughter. She go to work. She come home. I get my little rest in, and I go to work. Whatever works for you in that relationship, it works. And a lot of people question that, like, what the fuck? I say that to say this. I say that to say this. Is nothing wrong with being different. If what does not work, right? It might not work for them, for everybody else, but it was able to work for us. That was one less stress that I had when I went to work. So work was good for me, because I wasn't stressed out who's watching my daughter. Her mom. Her mom ain't gonna let nothing happen to her. So, but where does the man go when the family is shaky? when that's what you're providing for is the family. That's what that's what we're working for. We're working for our family. See, society has trained us men to follow orders instead of necessarily giving orders. And if you've heard me on older podcasts say that school is set up like prisons. So you have to understand what sometimes when you see a bad child, you're not seeing a bad child. You're just seeing a child that's not conforming to the structure in the school system that they want the child to conform to. See, it's all about conforming. If they're able to get the men to conform to a way that will dumb down their natural manhood, well, that's what they want to do because they don't want us to be men. They want us to be robots and programmed. They want us to sit up here and care more about the job than we do our own families. So we have to watch what we invest our time into because, and especially if you're a single parent. See, I'm a single parent. So I don't have the luxury to necessarily have somebody here when my kids get off of school, get out of school, to make sure that they're doing right. Then it gets kind of put on the kid. So, like I said, we have to start investing in our families. And sometimes it's not wrong if there's a way that you can come up with the, hey, look, one of us got to stay home, especially when your kid gets older, when they get into teenage. You want to be there because that's when it's more it's going to matter the most, because now they don't have the free will to do whatever. The block is not going to raise them because there's a parent there that they respect. When all of this is going on, right? Like I said, where can a man go? Where can a man go for that mental clarity? Why is it that when you see a show now, you see more of not the mask? Do you remember in the 90s? It was more masculinity. Now look at some of the shows. Even look at some of the shows that are on Disney, on some of these shows. The kids are playing a role that is not, that nature can't identify with. Where can a man go? And this is no knock to the woman, right? So this is not, I don't want people to think this is a knock to the woman. No, this is not. Because I know that sometimes even being a mother, right? Being a mother, being involved, having more than one kid, I can understand the pressures of that. Well, I can't imagine the pressures of that. Let me say that. But there's a lot of safe havens that are open for women than it is for men to be able to talk about their problems. Sometimes you don't want to talk about your problems with your friends because if you know your friends, some problems you can't even bring to certain friends. Certain friends might not have kids, so they can't identify with a family setting. They can only identify within a dating or a single setting, not living with the woman, trying to make things work. Where does the man go for that mental stability? Is he supposed to repair himself? Is he supposed to say, fuck it, I'm gonna repair myself? Is he supposed to take on with a family? There's just some shit that I just wanted to say and get out. Drop a comment. Let me know what y'all think about it. But I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. Peace.